Good morning. Welcome to Genoa. Just got off the train station and I am making my way on a walking tour through town. Genoa is about a 2-hour train ride from Milan when you take the regional train. I believe there was a faster train I could have taken that would have cost more money. Alright, my first stop is very close to the train station. It is the Royal Palace Museum. It is a former royal palace they turned into a museum. It is not open today. Today is a Monday. From this side, it's it's impressive, but nothing special to see. I'm going to walk around and see if you can see it from the other side, which I think might be more of the front. Today, luckily, it is not particularly hot. One might actually say it's very comfortable. It's about 70 degrees out, but cloudy. I've got a big walking tour of the city planned. Genoa definitely has an older feel than Milan. This is the other side of the Royal Palace Museum. I bet if you were up there, it would look very pretty, but from down here, not so much. Alright, bit of a strikeout on the first stop, moving on to the next. It's a very interesting walk to get here. This is Cathedral di San Lorenzo, Genoa's central cathedral. The cathedral was started in 1098 and finished sometime in the 17th century. Alright, that was pretty cool. They did not charge an entry fee to just go look around the church. They do have a fee if you wanted to go up into their tower, which I'm not going to do. Later on, I have plans to walk up to one of the terraces. Genoa is on a hill, so walk up to the terraces. Alright, so far my impression of Genoa is it's quite good. It's definitely more old school European feeling than Milan. Lots of narrow little lanes to walk through. Very pretty. Alright, on to the next stop. This was not my intended next stop. It's like just up the street from the cathedral. But this is Palais Ducal, Doge's Palace. Gonna go see what there is to see here. Looks like it's a museum. was not expecting to see a cafe up here. This is Piazza di Ferrari. Doge's Palace is very cool. There is a museum inside there. I'm not going into the museum right now, but I will walk around this fountain. Somehow at this point I managed to turn on the slow-mo setting on my camera and I didn't notice it for the rest of the day. So from this point on in the video, you're going to get highlights instead of live talking. This house is supposedly Christopher Columbus's birthplace. These two towers are part of one of the original doors to the city. Next, I walked past Teatro Carlo Felice, Genoa's main theater, and through the Galleria Giuseppe Mazzini. Then I made my way down to Genoa's waterfront area, remarking how it was a shame they ruined it with major roadways right along the water. This is a view of Genoa's harbor area where you can see the aquarium, an old crane used for unloading ships, as well as a big octopus-looking structure in the water made out of metal, which is a ride that you can take. It lifts you up so you can get a panoramic view of the city. This is another one of the original gates to the city. It now contains an Egyptian museum. Next, I walked back on the outside of a stretch of the old city wall that still exists. Along the way, I saw the medieval executioner's house, and again remarked how it's a shame that there is this major roadway going right through the heart of the waterfront area. While looking for the tourist train that I was going to take next, I took a peek at the biosphere, which is along the water. I did not opt to pay the money to go inside. While I do not usually do these sort of things, next I took a ride on this little red tourist train. The train ride was very pleasant. I got to see some of the sights I had already seen, plus some new ones that I hadn't seen before. The audio played through the overhead speakers, however, was all in Italian. They had QR codes you could scan to follow along on a podcast version in the language of your choice. The audio descriptions on the podcast version were well done, but it was difficult to keep up exactly where you were along the tour. After the train tour, I walked back into the old city and up one of the many hills. At the top, I was greeted by a fantastic view overlooking the old city. I could have taken the elevator up that is under the same system as Genoa's metro. For my last stop, I walked out to Genoa's lighthouse. Unfortunately, this walk was under the highway and right next to a very busy street. This is as close to the lighthouse as I made it. You can see it in the center of the clip. At this point, it became obvious I was not going to be able to get the good views of Genoa I was hoping for from that point, and it was getting close enough to my train time I decided to turn around and walk back. This was my last clip before getting on the train. I found Genoa to be a very amazing city. The old town is just very beautiful. Unfortunately, I saw it on a cloudy day. I can only imagine what those buildings would look like under bright sun. I will say Genoa's waterfront area is a bit ruined by the large highway and large city street that run right along it. I would suggest sticking to the old city area and not bothering to walk too much along the water. I also noticed that there were 3 cruise ships in port today, and even with 3 ships in town, the city never felt overwhelmingly crowded. Overall, I really enjoyed Genoa, and it is, I think, the first city I am seeing on this trip that I would like to come back and perhaps spend a night in. Thank you so much for watching.